Cobra Kai's Season 5 finale seemingly set Kreese on a path of destruction, but various moments in the show create hope for a redemptive arc in the show's final season. Played by Martin Kove, the classic Karate Kid villain has been a major thorn in the sides of both Daniel and Johnny for the bulk of Cobra Kai's run. For Season 5, though, the character took a step back from his role as an antagonist, but only because his situation at the time held him in check. Cobra Kai Season 5's ending implied that John Kreese will once again be on Daniel and Johnny's radar in the near future, possibly as a bigger threat than ever. Kreese's escape from prison set him up to be a villain with nothing to lose in Cobra Kai Season 6. With grudges against Terry Silver, Daniel LaRusso, and potentially Johnny Lawrence as well, Kreese is a problem for Cobra Kai's cast of characters that may get worse before it gets better. That said, there are aspects of Kreese's story that indicate the character isn't necessarily headed for a disastrous end. Kreese saved Tori from her neighbor. John Kreese builds Tori up in Cobra Kai. Tori Nichols' subplot with her mother proved that in the face of all of his flaws, Kreese is capable of doing good. Whether it was for his own interests or not, he helped Tori out of a bad situation when her slimy neighbor suggestively told her to pay him a visit if she didn't want to get evicted from her home. Without being told what was going on, Kreese assessed the source of Tori's distress correctly and used force to scare her neighbor into leaving her alone. Admittedly, his actions did allow him to keep his best student, but also warded away a child predator and prevented her family's situation from going even further downhill. Kreese discovers the truth about his girlfriend's death. A young John Kreese in Cobra Kai. The flashback storyline in Cobra Kai Season 3 culminated in a sequence where a young Kreese found out from his superior officer, Anderson, that he had purposely hid his girlfriend's death from him. He told him only when the two were forced into a fight to the death by their captors, believing it would leave Kreese vulnerable. While this tragic origin story doesn't excuse him for the things he's done in the present, it did go a long way toward humanizing his character. By offering viewers a thorough understanding of why Kreese is the way he is and what makes him tick, Cobra Kai has provided the foundation for a potential redemption arc. Kreese finally made up for one of his biggest mistakes. John Kreese encourages Tori in Cobra Kai. It took decades, but Kreese finally made up for one of his worst mistakes in the Cobra Kai Season 4 finale. After getting scolded by Johnny for telling him to cheat during the 1984 All-Valley Karate Tournament in The Karate Kid, Kreese stood up to Silver when he gave the same command to Tori during her fight with Samantha LaRusso. In a rare act of, in his own words, sentiment, Kreese told Tori to win the fight her own way. For what may be the first time in his career as a martial arts instructor, Kreese prioritized a student's own wants over winning. For Kreese, taking Tori's side came across as a massive step in the right direction. However, there was never a chance for the show to demonstrate if this was the beginning of a new style of leadership for Kreese. Kreese was betrayed by Terry Silver immediately after the tournament, and has yet to return to his role as a mentor to the students. If Cobra Kai somehow finds a way to let Kreese become a sensei, he can get an opportunity to treat his students' personal goals and values a bit differently. Kreese was betrayed by Johnny and Daniel. Kreese in Cobra Kai Season 5. John Kreese escapes from prison at the end of Cobra Kai Season 5. John Kreese sighting and eating in jail in a scene from Cobra Kai. Kreese talking to the prison therapist in Cobra Kai S5. Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso, Martin Kove as John Kreese, and William Zabka as Johnny Lawrence in Cobra Kai. Kreese's one conversation with Daniel and Johnny in Season 5 was a bit of a role reversal for the characters. Typically, it's been Kreese who has been deceptive and underhanded in his methods. He manipulated Johnny into letting him back into Cobra Kai and used his short time there to steal the dojo away from him. He's also been the villain in Daniel's story as well. That wasn't the case in Season 5, which saw Kreese provide the two with information they needed, only for both to break their end of the bargain. To them, Kreese's past behavior was enough to justify his imprisonment. Now, all three characters are guilty of some level of wrongdoing in their conflict, given that both lied despite knowing Kreese was innocent. Of course, this doesn't diminish his crimes, but he does have legitimate reasons for feeling wronged by Johnny and Daniel, which could be a factor when the characters inevitably clash in Cobra Kai Season 6. If Johnny and Daniel come to the conclusion that they were unfair to Kreese, there's at least some hope for a peaceful resolution in Cobra Kai's final episodes. Kreese told Tori to back out of the fight against Terry Silver. Cobra Kai Season 3. Kreese and Tori. Kreese added to a long list of transgressions when he enlisted Tori Nichols, a teenager, in his vendetta against Terry Silver. But though he alienated Tori in the process, he ultimately did try to get her to walk away from the fight. When she visited him, for what turned out to be the last time, Kreese advised her to do what was right for her. Once again, Kreese indicated through his counsel that in spite of his ruthless approach to winning in previous seasons, Kreese genuinely does care about the welfare and future of his students.